All right. Hello, hello. Happy Monday. So, how is everyone doing? I wanted to do this really quick live. I am hoping to keep it 5 minutes or less. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But if you didn't know, you're going to know now. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Hey, hi Studio David. Or Studio 11 David. Sorry. Welcome. Hey Palm. So yes, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I just wanted to do this really quick video. Here I am. I'm in the park in Brooklyn, Fort Greene. And I've been bouncing around for the past couple weeks. And so I haven't had a chance to do a live for Mental Health Awareness Month. And I was thinking that this is something really important to share with people. So now that I'm a little bit settled, I wanted to jump on for about 5 minutes and share this because I was talking with someone recently and this was something that they were really interested in, and I think a lot of people don't realize it. So a lot of times we say mental health, and so we think just taking care of our mindset. We might think of therapy. These are all good things, right? It's important to have a healthy mind. Our mindset is very important. Therapy is great, right? But here is the deal, and I'm going to cut right to the chase because I'm trying to do this live in 5 minutes or less. We as people are multi-layered. We have our bodies, we have our minds, and we have our spirit. So there's 3 parts to us, and this is what a lot of times gets neglected. This is what a lot of times makes us say, oh, okay, therapy didn't work, or having a positive mindset didn't work, or I tried prayer, I tried going to church, that didn't work, that didn't change my life, or I started this fitness program, that's not working for me. But here's the thing, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take care of ourselves as a human, right? But we're only attacking, so to speak, or we're only caring for one part of our beings. So actually, for healing, for Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to say that it's not just about mental health, it's about emotional care, spiritual care, and physical care, right? So when we're talking about self-care, we're talking about taking care of and nourishing and healing our spirits, our minds, and our bodies. So you might be like, well, Beth, what does that mean? I don't quite get it yet. So here is an example. So everything that I coach in my coaching and with my individual clients or my group clients is biblically based. And so let's take fear, because that's something that I have been feeling like it's important to speak about and share about. So a lot of times we're like, oh, I just have to have the mindset, and people will, there's this popular phrase of, hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. So there's this popular mindset of do it scared, or push through the fear, or whatever, or just train your minds to just, be strong. Well, fear, for example, has 2 parts to it. There is, hey, I hope you're having a great week. There is the emotional aspect of it. So for example, right, if you go skydiving, or you're on a roller coaster, or you love riding motorcycles, right? These, right, it's like a thrill, it's like an adrenaline rush, right? But there's some fear behind it. So there's like this emotional pleasure that can be attached to fear, versus what can sometimes also be a spiritual aspect. So what I always tell the people that I work with in my group coaching or one-to-one coaching is, it does say in the Bible, right, that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of sound mind and of peace. That means, should you believe in the Bible, of course, that means that there is a spiritual aspect to fear. And so sometimes mindset, just having a strong mind or making sure that we're encouraging ourselves and we're focused on transforming our thinking, right? And it does also say in the Bible, be renewed by the transforming of your minds. So sometimes we do have to train ourselves to think a different way. Sometimes we have to break out of the patterns of like negative self-talk towards ourselves or someone else. But sometimes there is a spirit that's attached to that fear. For example, if you're finding yourself often jealous, hey, how you doing, Stoop Kid? Good to see you. If you find yourself getting jealous often or comparing yourself to others and feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm not at that person's level, or you are feeling like your choices, like you're kind of like being pushed, you're self-sabotaging yourself, right? And you're starting something but then quitting, and you're like, oh, I'm just not ready, and you're doing things that are kind of like opposite of what you really want to do. Like you're going out on a date with someone, but before you even sit down across from that person or go to the museum or go on a walk or whatever you have planned, right, you're already talking yourself into thinking, oh, this person's not going to like me. If they only knew, you know, my past or what I did before or whatever. You have all these, you know, they don't want to be dealing with my health issues, my family issues, whatever it is, right? And so you've got like this fear that even before things have begun, you're like almost talking yourself out of it. That is actually a spiritual aspect, and that's actually a spirit of fear, because you are not really thinking logically. You are acting more impulsively, kind of against what you really would like to do. And so what a lot of times happens is people are thinking, oh, like I said at the beginning, right? Oh, prayer didn't work for me, or mindset, thinking, you know, and training my mind to be stronger and have new ways of thinking, right? And self-talk, right? Self-care, it's not working for me. Well, a lot of the reason is that we are only dealing with one aspect of ourselves, our spiritual aspect, or our mindset, our thinking aspect, right? Instead of taking care of our spirit and our mind and nourishing and healing that, right? And then there's the whole physical aspect, that when our physical body is not healthy, right, that also can pull us down emotionally and spiritually, right, and weaken us, right? So the things that we're putting into our bodies, right, the types of food that we're eating, and that's how much exercise we're getting, all these different things, even our physical environment, you know, the people we have surrounding us, if we have clutter or not clutter in our houses, right, or our workspaces, right, all of these things all go together, because as a human, you and I, we are right? We're a physical body, we're a physical being, we're emotional, and we have a spirit. So we actually have to make sure that we're nourishing and taking care and healing all three parts of ourselves, right? This all works together instead of just trying to attack it. I could give like an example, something that's like really common and a lot of times like really easy to see, right? A lot of times people will go on a diet, or even like sometimes people will have surgery, weight loss surgery, right? And this is like another example of how mind, body, and spirit all go together, right? So they've gotten their physical body, say they opted for surgery, right? They've gotten their physical body now at a weight where they are happy. But for whatever reason, before they took care of their weight loss, they did not take care of their mindset, how they think about themselves, how they love and respect themselves, their feelings of self-worth, their self-esteem. Also, maybe spiritually, they have not worked on themselves. And so what happens a lot of times is either they'll regain the weight, right? Or a lot of times even people, and this is like, you can look it up, there's been research done on this, people will end up doing other things, such as like having like sexual addiction that ends up becoming, you know, they'll end up being overly sexual promiscuous overly sexually promiscuous. I got it out. Because, right, they changed their body, right? And so now that they're in a place where like, oh, people are seeing me as attractive now, people are wanting me now, but they never took care of their emotional healing or their spiritual healing. So all they've done is like transferred pain from one area and they're putting it into a different outlet. So that's just like another example. You might see it happen commonly in the real world. So this is why when we are healing, when we're working on our healing, we want to work on transforming our lives physically. Background's getting a little noisy. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And we have to take care of all parts of ourselves so that as we're going through life, we are in a flow, in a harmonious flow, and things are flowing better for us, right? And then otherwise, we just take care of one thing and we're like, oh, that didn't work. Well, it probably did work, but being that the other aspects of yourself as a human haven't been addressed, haven't been nurtured, haven't taken care of them, it's looking like things aren't working. So that's all I wanted to share for today. I think I went over my 5-minute time that I said I was going to do, but I wanted to share that for Mental Health Awareness Month, because it's not just, you know, our mindset, and a lot of times that's what we think of when it comes to mental health awareness. It's also taking care of our spiritual selves and our physical selves. So with that being said, I'm going to be back. My goal is to come back again and do another 5-minute quick talk. I'm not sure I'm going to be saving these videos. I probably should have said that at the beginning. I'm not sure I'm going to be saving these lives for very long. So make sure you catch this replay before I take it down, because I'm probably going to be taking it down in about a week. All right, so chat soon. Have a good night. Until tomorrow, peace. So hello, happy Tuesday. Happy 2 days in a row live. So I have a goal again today of doing this live in 5 minutes or less. Hello, Sweetrites. How are you? I'm trying to do a quick live. I'm here in front of the American History Museum, and I'm right in front of the word history because I wanted to talk about something really quickly today for Mental Health Awareness Month. How's it going? Yes, so if you are happening to catch this on the replay, you do want to watch the replay sooner than later, because I am going to say I'm not going to be keeping, hey photo, not going to be keeping these lives up probably for longer than a week. So anyway, this is what I wanted to talk about in front of this word history. You can see it written backwards. A lot of us have a history with worry and think that it's okay. Hey, Rebecca. So I don't know if I'm the only one who's ever had this experience. You can comment in the chat below if you've had this happen. But when I call someone, it doesn't matter what company, for customer service, a lot of times the rep will say, all I'm doing is asking a question. They'll be like, don't worry, miss, I'll get that right to you. Or don't worry this, don't worry that. Every time I call customer service for anything, it doesn't matter if it's the electric company, it doesn't matter if it's my credit card company, it doesn't matter if it's the bank, it doesn't matter who it is. They all have this phrase that they like to say, don't worry. I was talking one time to a rep with my cell phone company, and she said to me, don't worry, so many times that she actually got on my nerves a little bit. And I said, ma'am, I'm not worried. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this. So stop telling me that I'm worried. Don't be telling me something I'm not. And here's the thing. A lot of times we think it's okay to worry. We have like this history with worry. A lot of times it's something, and I notice it in my family, right? My grandmother, my mother. And I have sometimes even struggled with it too, with worry. And it's like, well, it's okay to worry. It's normal. Let me tell you, we are not meant to worry. So that's the first thing. But how do we stop worrying? That's the question, right? Because I did mention briefly, I think I mentioned it yesterday, maybe I didn't in yesterday's live, but God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of sound mind. Hey, Tunisia. Of sound mind and peace. We're not meant to worry, right? But how do we get rid of worry? How do we get rid of fear? So the thing is we have to replace our history with a new history. We have to begin literally writing a new story, and we do that by replacing it with love. Yes, trusting that all things are working out for our good. Yes. Hey, love. I love that you said love, because that's what I'm talking about right this second. I'm about ready to wrap this up. What we want to replace it with is love, and God is love. So yes, sweet, right. You are right. Trusting God, who is the source of love, that can help us replace our worries with a new thing. Because if we're going to get rid of something, right? Let me give a quick example. Let's say I am cleaning out my fridge, right? If I don't have like a system in place for my fridge, my desk, whatever it is I'm cleaning out, my cupboards, right? It's springtime, a lot of people are cleaning and reorganizing, so I'm going to go with the cleaning analogy. If we don't have a system of organization in place, within a week, that clutter in our fridge, that clutter on our desk, whatever that clutter is in the cupboards or the desk drawer or the cupboard, like the pull-out drawer where you keep all of your knives or measuring cups or whatever, it's going to get cluttered all over again. We have to replace it with a system, and the system is love, right? And that's something that if you're interested in learning more about systems, then you can send me a DM and we can chat, or you can comment below the video that you want to know more about systems. But it does say that perfect love casts out fear. That is a promise in the Bible. So that is where I am getting this statement of replace fear with love. That love is going to cast that fear out, that worry out. But how does that work when it comes to replacing, say, worry about your health, or worry about a family situation, or, hey, Ambien, or worry about your finances, or worry about, like a coworker type drama, right? How do you replace love? How do you replace love when in like real life practical situations? And that's something that I've been working with people in. Now I can't join you because I'm doing a live right now. But thank you for the invite. But yes, so what I'm going to say is that right now I am working with some people in a group mastermind on how to replace fear with love. So if you want to get in on that, you can comment below. You can also send me a DM, and I will be able to send you the information for how to get into that program and that mastermind, so that I can start working with you and the other people, and we can all work together with how do we put in a new system of replacing fear or worry with love. Like how do we break that history, right, and begin writing new stories, new success stories where we have peace no matter what the situation is in our relationships, in our businesses, in our families, in our health, right? So that is, I think I still went over a little bit of my 5-minute goal, but that is what I wanted to talk with you all about today, is replacing worry with the system of love. So, all right. I feel like Gambian, this is being inappropriate. All right, but thank you. So yes. All right. So I'm going to have this live ended, as this is really meant to be just a short live to encourage you all, because this is Mental Health Awareness Month. Oh, you're welcome, Sweets Rights. I am so glad that you were able to join me. And yes, we'll see each other, I'm sure, hopefully sooner than later in real life, because I know you have some things coming up, I believe, for your writing business as well. So yes, let's stay connected. All right, so have a great afternoon and peace. All right, hello. Let's make sure my glasses are on the top of my head. So I am back for day 3. My goal is to do a live every day this week for 5 minutes. And so here I am, and I am excited. I want to speak and share some ideas with you all about opportunity. Hey Nardo, how are you? So thanks for joining. So hey Smart. So yes, opportunity. And the thought came to me because I just had the opportunity to pitch my workshops to a very large group, which was super exciting. And it made me think of the phrase, when opportunity knocks. So is that a phrase you have heard of before? If it is something you've heard of or familiar with, feel free to drop a comment below saying you are. When opportunity knocks. So 2 different ways that I want to share with you some thoughts about this in less than 5 minutes for Mental Health Awareness Month, because that's what's happening this month of May. So 1, this got me thinking because I recently was listening to a post that a colleague of mine, Gio, had made on his page about one of his clients who had an opportunity. They had a choice, right? They had the opportunity to stay at their current job, or they had the opportunity to leave and go to a new place that was more challenging. Now, thankfully, his client took the opportunity that was knocking and went to the new place and ended up more than doubling, I don't know, like quadrupling or more his salary by making that choice. But what if his client or you or I operated in fear when opportunity knocked? So a lot of people, let's just say realistic is something that people like to talk about. Oh, it's not realistic, or I want to be realistic. Well, a lot of times being realistic is about being rooted in fear. So it's a fear-based mindset of like, I don't want to go bigger and take this new opportunity because what if it doesn't work out? What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't do it? Now, of course, if someone showed up on my doorstep tomorrow with the opportunity for me to become a brain surgeon, I would decline, right? It's not something that I am willing to level myself up to do, right? It's just not something I feel called to do, or like, right? But, right, as a business owner, if there was a business opportunity that was in alignment with how I feel I am supposed to be operating, even if it required a lot of work, even if there were a lot of questions, right, of like, how am I going to do this? I know that fear-based decision making when it comes to our professional lives, our businesses, usually keeps us in a place that we're not really wanting to be in, right? Think back to when you were in kindergarten or first grade. What were those ideas that you had? You were like, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. You had all these ideas. A lot of times, the things that you and I are supposed to be doing in life actually were ideas we had when we were children. So if you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, think back to all the ideas you had. What were the things that as a child, because when you're a child, a lot of times you're fearless, right? Kids, they're doing stuff and their parents are like, oh my gosh, don't do that, right? They're climbing on things, and some things really are dangerous, right? But sometimes, hey Nikki, But sometimes as children, you're fearless. Like literally the sky's the limit. You haven't had it programmed in your brain yet to be realistic. You're out in the sandbox, you're playing, you're imagining, you're on the swing set, you're running around playing with your friends, right? You've got all of these ideas. And no one has told you to be realistic. People have told you, hey, use your imagination, go entertain yourself. I was an only child. I was told, go play. Go outside, go play, right? So I would be in the backyard, riding my bike, swinging on the swing set, whatever. I was figuring out how to entertain myself, right? But then when we get older, we start thinking when opportunity comes, oh, I'm not ready for it. I can't this. I might not be good enough. This might be too much. This isn't really realistic for me. And we've lost like that uncorrupted part of our childhood, right? So, in fact, this is actually reminding me of something. Jesus told his disciples that no one can come into the kingdom of heaven unless they come like little children. He didn't say a 40-year-old man or woman is supposed to be behaving like a 40-year-old child, right? We're talking about maturity, but being childlike, being curious, playing, having fun, not being so much in our minds and limiting ourselves with our thoughts, right? But going back to that child. So think about, this is something that I want to challenge you today. So if you are stuck, you feel like you're stuck in a rut, you're like, I don't feel like I'm going anywhere professionally, like I had all these ideas, all these dreams. I thought I was going to be this, that, do the other thing, and this is not how my life has turned out. Go back, think about what you wanted to do when you were 5, 7, 8, right? Think about those ideas. Those might be the very things that you can and that you are meant to do as a business owner. Not everyone's meant to be a business owner, okay? I'm not anti-day job. Go and pursue for your career professionally, right? That's one way. If you're feeling like stuck and you're like, oh my goodness, I've had all these opportunities, but maybe these opportunities, I feel like life is passing me by. I don't know how to get myself going again. I feel lost. I don't even really know what my purpose is. People talk about purpose. People talk about doing things that you're gifted for. I don't even know how to get there. That's a way to get there, is going back to those ideas when you were a child. And that's like kind of like what your natural impulse is before all of these like filters and fear and other people's expectations that they've pushed onto you. You know, that's kind of like going back to your natural self, right? So that's what I wanted to share about with you today. When opportunity knocks, be very careful that you are choosing your opportunities and making your decisions not in a fear-based, right, way. Thinking about like what's in alignment with you, your purpose, and even is this in alignment with the dreams that I've always had from going back to my childhood. That's like a way that you can kind of get yourself back on track as an adult and start shifting and moving your life into a way where you don't feel like things have passed you by and you can take back your power. And if you're listening to the replay on this, hey Marcus, and you are saying, okay, well that all sounds great, but I don't really know how to like then, cultivate it or tap into this. I am doing a Evict fear, so just send me a DM or a comment in the comments below and I can tell you how you can get into that 20-day program. Also masterminds that I'm doing right now so that you can evict the fear when opportunity is knocking. All right. So that's all I wanted to share. I think I again went over my 5 minutes, but it is what it is. I am still aiming for this 5 minutes because I'm going to keep trying, right? So persistence. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. And so hopefully tomorrow, Lord willing, I will be back with another tip for Mental Health Awareness Month. on fear and pushing through the fear and evicting fear in your life, and getting to a place where you are mapping out your new life success stories. Yes, thank you, Marcus. It's good to see you. How's everything going with your bike? I see some of your videos. I'm happy you're still doing your thing, having fun. So yes, now I've got all these trucks around me, so I am going to end this live. But have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time, peace. All right, hello, and so how is everyone's Thursday going? Happy Thursday. So for today's live for Mental Health Awareness Month, hello, I want to just kind of continue a little bit along with what I started sharing with you all yesterday around the phrase when opportunity knocks. Yes, so I want to go at it today from a little bit different angle. So yesterday, you can catch the replay if you missed it, but it was about opportunity, fear, evicting fear when it comes to professional aspects of our lives, business aspects of our lives, and what to do if you're feeling just stuck, like your life's stuck in a rut. Today, I want to chat a little bit. This is going to be in 5 minutes or less, hopefully. I want to chat a little bit about when opportunity knocks in the terms of relationships. Yes, relationships. A lot of people have relationship problems. I've had relationship problems. No relationship is perfect, right? Even the most successful long-term marriages have, some ups and downs. But here is the thing. Fear is a guiding decision maker, sadly, in a lot of relationships. For so many reasons, but I want to talk about, a lot of times people talk about a scarcity mindset with money, but let's talk about love. Love is also a currency. Hey, so money is a currency. It's something that we can spend. Love is also something that is a currency. It is something we can spend. And to poor connection. Okay, I think I'm back in business. Sometimes we, as humans, get into a fearful position and feel like love, there's not going to be enough of it. I'm going to use an example from my life to show you what I mean. So this was quite some time ago. This is not recent history. This was back in my early 20s. Hey, Jeterman, how are you? Okay. And I remember when I spoke with him, connecting, back, he was upset and he said to me, well, who's gonna love me? And then he was like, but I was saving up for a ring. Who's gonna love me? Who am I gonna get married to? Well, clearly I was not his wife. And one sign that I was not his wife had nothing to do with me ending the relationship. It actually had, after I had some time to think about it, everything to do with even why he was with me. Who's gonna love me? Well, another woman. I don't know who, I don't have the answer. But a lot of times what we do as women and men, both sides of us, and I would propose that it's one of the reasons why, as we make our choices thinking that opportunity is not going to knock again. That like this might be it. That we might be lonely. I don't want to be lonely. What if I don't find someone else to love me? Well, I didn't actually love him. If I loved him, I wouldn't have. Or maybe I did love him. Maybe that's why I ended things. Either way, it doesn't particularly matter, except to say that he had a scarcity mindset, and happy news, he's married. And so he did find someone, right? So a lot of times our fear keeps us stuck in a relationship that we really don't have any business being stuck in. And we will settle for a relationship thinking that opportunity is not going to knock again. And it will. Now, I'm not talking about the extreme mindsets. I do think also sometimes certain women and certain men do have, another type of overconfidence where maybe because of social media or different things, and they think they have too many options, right? And so they're just like tossing really amazing women and men off, thinking that they've got like 1,000,001 options in the world and thinking maybe they have more options than they really do. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where you're choosing a life partner in the fear of opportunity not ever knocking again. And then when that happens, what ends up happening is you end up with a partner who's maybe most likely not going to be in alignment with you, or who you're not going to be happy with because you made a fear-based decision. So this is the mental health check, because our mental health affects our relationships and our relationships affect our mental health. They're back and forth. They go together. So a lot of times a core reason why our relationships and our mental health can sometimes not be at its healthiest is because of a fear-based decision that we've made, feeling like opportunity may not knock again. So when you're making your decisions in your relationships, I would say this: is there fear? Is there a fear that you're making a decision, and it could be even to break up with someone? Sometimes people, right? Sometimes we end relationships in the fear of us not being good enough. There's different focus on, are you sticking with something that you may not want because you feel, or someone who you see all these signs, right? You see that this person's a narcissist. You know they're cheating on you. You know that they don't have integrity. You know all of these things, right? You know you want someone who works hard, but yet you've settled for someone who sits in front of the TV all day, right? You want someone, that was my issue. I wanted someone who had more ambition. I wanted someone who was a really hard worker and really like moving and shaking is what I wanted. I didn't see that in him. But what I was not willing to do was say, well, maybe I'll never find someone who is really going to be, with me, making changes, making things happen in the world. Oh, thank you, Jeterman. I'm here for you too. Hey, how's the speaking going? Have you gotten any speaking engagements? I know we were talking about that. So yes, the thing is, right? We don't want to be settling in fear-based, thinking opportunity isn't going to come again, right? And God does promise us that He will, for those of us who, follow Him, follow His Son Jesus, right? There are certain promises, and that He will, the years that have been wasted, or the years that have been lost, or different things that have gone wrong, He will heal that, and He will give us those things back. So if you're making a decision to stick with someone, feeling like just because you don't want to be lonely, sometimes the loneliest thing is being with someone just to be with someone. It can actually be the loneliest thing in the world, to be sleeping next to someone because they're just a warm body, not for any other reason. So that's what I wanted to share. I went again over 5 minutes, but opportunities do come around again, in different ways, in different forms. And like I said, the happy story is that after he basically admitted in tears, I did make him cry, well, who's going to love me? He was basically admitting to me that he was settling for me, right? So it wasn't a compliment to me. It wasn't a compliment to anything. So that's what I'm saying. We just have to look at the emotions behind our choices and making sure that the emotional background is coming from a healthy place while we're making our life choices in our relationships. All right. So until the next live, I'll be back tomorrow, Lord willing, to share something else for Mental Health Awareness Month and revolving around fear, of course. So until tomorrow, peace. All right. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. How's your week been? So I found this really cute little spot to get some juice. Oh, I just squirted it up my nose. Anyway, hey, you just missed me making a mess of myself drinking my juice. It's celery, ginger, and apple, so it has a little zing to it. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick live again. The goal this week has been doing lives every day for 5 minutes or less. Let's see if I can get this one in 5 minutes. But yes, you saw it. It's always a comedy show with me. Gotta have fun. So yes, okay, let me refocus. So for Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to share some thoughts this afternoon on the big D word. Yes, maybe it is not the best Friday topic, but yet again, maybe it is, because a lot of times people, we are living for Friday, and then the rest of the week we are complaining and feeling like our lives are dying. Yes, I want to talk about from a perspective of the fear of death and how that really kind of does impact the choices we make in our lives. So, yes, aside from just, living for the weekend, what sometimes happens is that people put off, because they don't, the fear of death is so gripping, they put off some really important things for actually living. For example, a lot of people will say, I'm going to get right with God when I'm old. Well, there's no guarantee I or you are going to wake up tomorrow morning. That might sound a little dramatic, but there is no guarantee. So the fear of getting right with God and having a boring life, I think that's what a lot of people talk about. It might not be as fun, as exciting as it could be. Keeps people from actually living a life fully and completely. So for example, look around, right? If you've ever gone to the zoo, if you've ever gone out in a forest on a nature walk. Even here in New York City, we have a lot of different types of birds. I don't know how many species of birds there are, just for example, but there's hundreds, I think probably thousands, right? So if God can create such a wide variety of birds, right, just for example, thousands of different types of birds, right, then what's the fear that if you get right with God, so to speak, right, that it would mean you would live a boring life? So a creator that's going to create such a diverse, just when it comes to birds, a diverse array of life, that means he's going to at least have that many ideas or plans or thoughts about you and your life and having fun. So sometimes actually our fear that God and choosing to follow him in his ways is going to make our lives boring is actually cutting some of the fun out, because we're not giving him space in our lives to be a creator in our lives and create fun adventures that we can live. So that's one thing. So you may be actually, if that's you and you're listening to this on the replay, you may actually be blocking your own fun in fear that you're not going to have any fun. So number two, a lot of times people in the fear of death don't put into place the things that they need to put into place for their families. They don't want to have to talk or think about their own death, or even, God forbid, the death of a child. And so they don't get life insurance policies for themselves or their children. So for example, it was very tragic. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, had to bury her daughter. Now my aunt was older. She was buried, sadly, weirdly, on her 50th birthday, right? And she did have life insurance, so she took care of her family, right? But what I'm saying is, like, we sometimes don't think about the things that are hard or scary, the things that we don't want to have to face, because we don't ever want to have to live through them. And then we think, oh, if I do this, I might speak it into existence. No, you're not speaking anything into existence by talking about and making plans for your family, for life insurance, or creating trust funds and setting up all those financial important foundational pieces for building generational wealth and protecting your family, right? You're not doing, hey, I'm a little bit talking about money here. Hey sis, how you doing? So you're not actually speaking anything into existence when you're purchasing life insurance for yourself or for your child, or whatever it is that you're putting in place, getting trust funds in alignment. You're literally being wise, right? You're making plans, right? You're making plans for the prosperity and the security of wealth for your family. So in fact, actually, sometimes by facing the scary thing of like death, someday I'm going to die, someday my child, God forbid, might go before me, but you're actually really putting into place structures that really give hope and help and are tools. So all of that to say that if fear is something that you have been struggling with, worry is something you've been struggling with, I do have something that I've been doing since April. I have a 20-day Evict Fear program, and within that program, there is a 4-part mastermind where it's really been interesting, the work that I've been doing with the people who've been attending the masterminds, because each one of them have different fears that they have been putting plans in place for, so that those things that seemed overwhelming or too big or fearful, like they're literally have been able to put plans and take steps so that they can take back their power, take control over the fear. Because to evict the fear, say for example the fear of death or whatever it is that you're facing, fear of your health, fear of financial uncertainty, fear of relationships. I've talked about all of these topics this week at different points on my lives, so you can all catch the replays, right? But whatever those things that are fearful and gripping you and keeping you from like moving forward and advancing, right? The people that have been joining the masterminds and doing the program, they've all been able to put plans into place so that that thing that they've been worried about, that thing that's been bothering them, isn't paralyzing them anymore. And now they have plans and they are empowered. And it's so interesting because we all have different action. Okay, I think I'm back. We all have different things that we're worried about, and the whole thing is we don't want to live our life that way. We want to live our life emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually free. So if you are feeling stuck, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with things, feel free. You can either comment below or send me a DM, and I will send you the information for how you can get in on the Evict Fear program and how I can potentially support you with that in the mastermind series as well. So yes, I'm not going to make all of these lives this week and not give people tools for how they can actually, overcome and evict fear from their lives. So again, my goal was 5 minutes or less for this live. Oh, thank you, Distractible Me. It was so nice meeting you last night. It's always good to meet a fellow artist. So yes, thank you for joining and supporting. But yes, so I hope that these lives have encouraged you. I'm going to be leaving them up for a little bit, but I'm not going to be permanently leaving them on my Instagram page. So if you are catching this one, go back and listen to the other ones. I'll probably be taking them down in like 1 or 2 weeks at the end of Mental Health Awareness Month. So yes, until the next live, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy in peace, and we'll chat soon. Peace. Oh, happy Wednesday. How's everyone's Wednesday going? Did you all miss me doing lives every day? I actually kind of have missed doing the lives a little bit this week. And I did want to do a live again today. Hey, Michelle. Nice to see you. So yes, I wanted to do a live again for Mental Health Awareness Month and speak this time and share some thoughts on living in the moment, because sometimes our mental health suffers from fear of missing out. And so we're trying to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things and thinking we have to do a whole lot. And sometimes that causes us to actually just miss out on the moment that we're in and not get the full pleasure of that moment in time that we could get. So, for example, I was thinking about my Saturday. This Saturday, I went to the farmer's market here in Brooklyn, and then there's this Dosa's little stand that's really, really good. It's so delicious. If you are in the Brooklyn area and you happen to go to the Fort Greene market, I think they're not there this Saturday, but most Saturdays they're there, well, a little bit a ways from the market, but you can find them. It's this husband and wife, and they make these dosas, and they're super good. In fact, they are so good that people stand in line for them. I was in line waiting for my homemade food to be cooked just for me for almost 2 hours. Now, I had things that I wanted to do, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm going to not do that. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter, because what ended up happening is there was a man in front of me, and then like another couple of friends came along behind me, and then another woman after them. And we all started this group conversation, and we were just in line talking. When I tell you it was like a complete joy, if I had been like, okay, I don't have time to stand in this line for this really good home cooked food, I would have really missed out on doing just something simple like enjoying the moment, being outside on a beautiful day, waiting on something. And see, that's something that a lot of times we get antsy about and we get uncomfortable with. Sometimes our minds and our hearts get uncomfortable and impatient, and we're like, I don't have time for this. And that this could be something really delicious at the end of the wait, and this could also be just a really cool, fun moment of being human and connecting with other human people and just enjoying conversation. We were just talking about whatever it was that happened to come up. A lot of it was like around food and culture, but it was like an absolute joy. Now we're all in a WhatsApp group together for like food adventures. So I'll see how that goes, but just letting go of that fear, or it may not even be fear. I consider it a little bit of fear when we start thinking like we have to rush through things and we don't have time because we've got to also do X, Y, and Z. We may not really realize that it's like fear, but there's like this compulsion sometimes that we have to like keep going and going and going and going and going, especially if you are a New Yorker and a business owner in New Yorker. But, even parents have that, right? Parents with their children, like, I have to go do this with my child and that and the next thing and the next thing, right? And sometimes even relationships, I've got to do this with my boo because, we've got to do this, that, and the other thing, couples goals or whatever, instead of just sitting or standing and just for 2 hours, almost 2 hours, not a lot got done, but yet a lot got done. Like the actual human connection, the actual art of conversation, that's priceless, right? That's an experience that rushing around would never have given me. And then there was really good food at the end of my wait, right? That then prolonged the enjoyment. Then I went on to enjoy the food, right? So it ended up being a very slow Saturday, but also just enjoyable. And so that's what I wanted to share with you. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to slow down and just live in the moment and not have to think about or concern yourself with, I got to go on to the next thing, but just go slow and enjoy the moment, right? Things do have to get done. They're going to get done anyway. What needs to get done will sort itself out. But that's what I wanted to share with you today for this Wednesday. We could call it Wellness Wednesday during this month of May for Mental Health Awareness Month. So like I was sharing last week in the lives that I was doing last week, I'm just going to be keeping up these lives, these series. I'm just going to be keeping up till the end of this month. And in June, I am going to be starting a new, hey Marvelous, how are you? Good to see you. In June, I'm going to be starting a new mastermind series, the first full week in June. So if you want to get in on that, it's called Evict Fear, and it will help you with that, evicting fear and just enjoying your life and the process and getting your power back in the moment, right? So you can send me a DM if you would like the link for joining that mastermind Evict Fear. I've been doing it in April. I've been doing it again this month of May, and the next one is going to start in June. So just either comment below or shoot me a DM if you would like the information on the upcoming Evict Fear Mastermind. So yes, enjoy the rest of this gorgeous day. It is sunny. I have some errands I'm about ready to do. So yes, I will chat soon and have a great day. Peace.